views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Are you ready to dream on? Do you know how to fly high and soar among the clouds? Get ready to live adventurously because the Laura Meeks Show starts now. Listen as Laura lifts you off the ground while teaching you how to fly high. Forget ground-level drama and be prepared to confront your dreams head-on as she encourages you to navigate towards your North Star and into what just might be the best life you've imagined. Dream on. Live adventurously on The Laura Meeks Show.
Hi, this is Laura Meeks, and I welcome you to a new episode of The Laura Meeks Show here on Transformation Talk Radio. You know, it's my mission to help tens of thousands of you make a change in your life so that you can bring your unique gifts to this world and live in a world that you would love. And I have mastered the art of change, and through these broadcasts, I hope to provide you some nuggets, little nuggets of hope and help so that your talents can flourish. So once again, I welcome you to the Laura Meeks Show. You know, I'm going to start this show with this. Have you ever felt like when you get out of bed that you just like literally had to drag yourself out of your bed? You know, nothing in your plans seemed exciting. And for me, I know that happens. It's happening less and less to me. And one of the things that I want to aim you at is that if that's a common occurrence for you, wouldn't it be great if you could find a way that when you woke up in the morning, it would be like when you're taking a vacation. It's like, oh my God, I can hardly wait to get out of bed. For me, that happens a lot because I love doing the work that I do, and I find it very inspirational. And to me, I think the thing that's missing in this equation is inspiration. You need to have something really important in your life that makes you want to get up and want to play. So today, what I want to talk about is how to get that feeling back. In the land of fly high living, you know, it is interesting that we've talked about finding your destination, but it's also important to have fuel in your jet, and inspiration is our jet fuel. In past shows, we've talked about the importance of the vision and finding your destination. That is still obviously true. You really can't go anywhere if you don't know where you're going. So it's important to have your destination in mind. But then once you have your destination, we have to fill our jet up with fuel and get ready to take off. Now, Alice in Wonderland, remember that book and that show? It's interesting. There's a spot where Alice is walking along a path and the path diverges. And she's wondering, should I take the left or the right path? And in front of her is a tree and then all of a sudden the Cheshire Cat shows up. And she asks the cat, she says, you know, should I take the left or the right path? And the Cheshire Cat asks this most important question, and I ask it of you. Where are you going? Now, in the story, she says, well, I don't know where I'm going. And the Cheshire Cat says, well, in that case, any road will do. Because it doesn't really matter. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't really matter which road you take. And I will add to that if you're waking up in the morning and going to work or doing whatever it is that you're doing, you don't really have an idea of where you're going, then not only will any road do, but more than a common experience is that other people will help guide you down their road. And so what I want you to do is figure out where you want to go. And then we want to fuel our jet with inspiration and take the shortest destination to our road, right? You know, once we get in our jet, we do need fuel to go where we want to go. And in your life, the fuel is going to be your hope and your dreams and inspiration. So today we're going to talk about it. inspiration. Now, one of the things I found very interesting, and this is kind of a spiritual event, so to speak, as I was working on putting this show together, one of the things that I opened up my computer and I'm like, I need some inspiration. Well, it turns out that my computer opens, and maybe yours does too, to the Google homepage. And on the Google homepage on that particular day was a little drawing of some dinosaurs. It was like a little kid's drawing of dinosaurs. And as I was looking at this picture of dinosaurs, I'm thinking, so how does that relate to Google today? And it turns out that the dinosaurs were part of a contest. And it turns out that Google at the end of the year has a contest to doodle Google. They ask kindergartner through 12th graders to draw a doodle and then explain why that doodle is important. And so that was the contest. Now, what was interesting about the contest this year, or in 2018, the end of 2018, was the title. So here I am on the Google homepage looking at this, and then I find out that the contest is called, they needed to respond to this: what inspires me? I thought, this can't get any easier or better. Google looked at the thousands of submissions that they had, and they found that all the submissions reflected the dreams, the hopes, and the talents of students across the country. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful way to start the day. So let me tell you about the winner, because the dinosaur drawing was from the winner. The winner this year, now K through 12, the winner this year was a second grader. Her name is Sarah Gomez Lane. And she was in school in Falls Church, Virginia. And her doodle was of these dinosaurs. And it was inspired by her dream to become a paleontologist. Now, the Google staff looked at this and said, we fell in love with Sarah's rendering of her dinos and were blown away by her big, in fact, they said, you might even say dino-sized ambitions for her future, especially at her age. Now, I found it interesting when they ended it with especially at her age, because somehow we're interested and amazed that kids have such grand dreams. But you know what? In my experience of childhood, it seemed that my friends and I always had a big imagination and lots of inspiration to do stuff. I mean, when you were ever asked, what are you going to be when you grow up? We could list hundreds of things that we wanted to do. And really, my bigger concern right now is that our parents and our teachers and our educational system seems to reward conformity rather than creativity. And when budget cuts come, it seems that the creative side is part of what gets cut. But on the good side, Google rewarded Sarah with a gift of $30,000 towards a college scholarship. And her elementary school in Falls Church, Virginia, got a $50,000 contribution to spend on technology to help the students like Sarah continue to pursue what inspires them. We want to fill our jet with what inspires us. And I absolutely love the collaboration between Google and this school to expand the forces of inspiration. It's so critical to what we were doing. And just to think that future generations are now going to have more fuel to build their creative inspiration. Now, I ask you this. Is it possible for you to remember who you were in second grade? Can you remember what your aspirations and your dreams were in second grade? You know, it's scary to me that kids sometimes get indoctrinated into the real world. And it's important to me as a parent that our kids don't get indoctrinated too early into the real world, because we need to inspire our children to make plans for the future. And it's important to you as an adult to be inspired, because this is the fuel that's going to be put into our jet. So once we figure out our destination, we want to fill our jet with inspiration and move forward. You know, in my life, I had a powerful imagination and an inspiration to fly airplanes. In fact, one of the things that I had been that inspired me and drove me was my incessant desire, my dream of flying jets. And I decided early on that my goal was to make a living flying jets. And it took me from junior high age till 27 when I finally graduated from U.S. Air Force pilot training. And I was then earning a living flying airplanes. And I did find that there was lots of inspirational moments on that path. So as you can see, here is a second grade girl that has dreams of being a paleontologist. I am not even sure I could say that when I was in the second grade. So my question to you is what were your dreams? And did you follow them? Or did you get indoctrinated into the real world? Did the real world steal your dream? Now, one of the important lessons that I can bring you from my life is that dreams and the importance of following your dreams. And we all grow up in life and circumstances happen. But the most powerful dream you have to go around circumstances is your dream and the inspiration that you need to keep following your dream, because you don't want anybody to steal your dream. And it's sometimes very easy for somebody to steal your dream. You know, a challenge that we face here in our earthly circumstances is that all kinds of things are always present. The circumstances of life are in and around us. And one of the things you probably know, and I'll just refresh your memory, is that we live in a world of contrast. It is actually supposed to be a world of contrast. We live in this world of time and space, and we have a binary system of contrast that's designed to help us create our best evolution. It seems clear that you can't know about light if you can't experience darkness. You can't fly high in your life if you don't know what low is or what falling down is. And you can't experience forgiveness in your life if you can't experience something negative or not good happening in your life so that you can forgive a person for doing that. You can't experience love without knowing its opposite. So contrast is our friend, and we need to know that. That's how the world works. And the benefit to you is this, is that once you figure out what's bad in your life, then that gives you information, tons of information about what is good. So as we're working in the visioning world, a lot of times I ask people about what they find bad in their life, and we flip it so that we know what's good. If you're in a job that's boring and it pays little and you're not really enjoying it, then you probably understand more about what a job would be like that you would like. It clarifies what you're going to do. If you're in an abusive or a seemingly abusive relationship, then that information is should be fueling you to figure out what a great relationship would be like. Contrast provides that information, and that contrast then leads us to be inspired to do something. Now, the value of inspiration is that it fuels action. And the one thing that I want you to be crystal clear about is that inspiration without action is merely entertainment. It's like going to the movies. So if you're listening to me today and you get inspired and then you go out and do nothing with it, you don't take any steps towards your new goal, then I may not have done my full and best work here. So think about this. You can fuel your jet with inspiration, but if you never start the engine and go somewhere, the value of that fuel is worthless. It isn't of value to anyone. So contrast in life circumstances are providing you information that you need to move in one direction or the other. Your soul in here knows where you're going and is providing you clues every day as to what your purpose and the direction you should take. So the question is, are you listening Are you being inspired by your own thoughts? They are your best fuel out there. Inspiration is the fuel that we need. Inspiration is a gift, and it shows you what's possible. Inspiration is your view into your future greatness. That's what inspiration does. Connie Smith, who's a country singer, said this, and I think this, of all the things I looked up, this seems to be the best fit. Inspiration is finding something that excites you. Remember, getting out of bed. If you want to get out of bed, then you have to have something that excites you to get out of bed. But it takes attention and participation for you to steer the plane. You can't expect that somebody's programming your autopilot, you jump in the airplane and you just watch your life go by. Many people are doing that, but I'm just here to tell you that it's better if you grab a hold of the controls and steer the plane to where you want to be. Because I will tell you this, if you're on autopilot, eventually your airplane will land. But it's going to be a really rough landing because most likely it's going to be not on a smooth runway, but more like in a forest. So if you want a smoother landing and a fun life, then you need to figure out where you're going and take inspired action to aim at the landing runway. So we've heard about a wonderful second grader who aspired to be studying dinosaurs. And this is an important skill not to lose. Deep imagination and inspiration help you do grand things. And it seems sad that we would wean our kids off of imagination and have them conform to standardized testing and jobs. But I encourage you to hang on and reignite your passion for life and adventure. My motto is fly high, dream on, fly high, and live adventurously. And that's how my work is to help you get back to that inspired living. So when we return, we're going to reflect on the current world. And you're going to hear an inspiring story from a young Indian woman right after the break. This is Laura Meeks, Transformation Talk Radio.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
Golden Otter Divinations Radio, where the metaphysical meets the mainstream with Autumn Seibel. Tune in the first Friday every month at 9 a.m. Pacific as Autumn, educator, health coach, and medium, explores metaphysical and mainstream strategies on how to elevate your level of conscious living. Draw in the abundance that is yours by divine right. For more information about working with Autumn, visit goldenotter.us. That's golden like the precious metal and otter like the precious animal.us.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha.
My name is Susan Glavin.
My name is Momo Estake.
Hi, I'm Cornelia Stephanie, and I'm here to inspire creatively wild women to rise rooted in spiritual and material abundance.
Every woman that I've spoken to has an incredible dream of bringing even more love, beauty, and harmony to their families and to their communities.
And I'm here to start an evolutionary revolution among women.
To heal their karmic debts, to transcend the shame of poverty consciousness that women have lived with for centuries. It's time for women, for you, to have a new relationship with money, to radiate wealth from the inside out. We are creating a ripple effect, empowering millions of women to claim their inner wealth. Join Susan, Samantha, Momo, and Cornelia Fridays on the Millionaire Imprint for Women at Transformation Talk Radio.
Well, welcome back. Thanks for the great music interlude. In the last section, we were talking about inspiration being your jet fuel, and I welcome you back. This is Laura Meeks. I'm on Transformation Talk Radio, and I want you to know right now that you had inspiration here today to come and listen to this show in all or in parts of this show. And there are parts and messages that you need to be hearing. I am on the frequency that you need to hear. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we go down this road. One of the things that I want to talk about is that you can live your life by choice or by default. In other words, we talked before about the autopilot being on. And whether you wake up, you are creating a life that you are living, whether you think you're choosing it or not. You can pull your head under the covers and live a day of life under the covers, or you can actually get up and go out and do some stuff. So you really actually have complete control out of everything. And we talked about getting up in the morning. Do you want to get up and do stuff? And I do think that once you find a destination and you get some inspiration, some jet fuel in your jet, then you can then go out and do some incredible, amazing things. And we want to go out and fly our jet. Now realize that there are thunderstorms and there's mountains out there to deal with, but we want to plan our destination, then correct our course to our dreams. And when life shows us a lot of contrast, we're going to need some extra fuel to climb higher and fly around these obstacles. And this is when other people and stories can inspire us as we move forward. And now I heard this story the other day, or I heard this quote the other day. We, as a people, will let pain push us until inspiration pulls us. The power of inspiration is different than motivation. Inspiration pulls you forward. It's the thing that pulls you out of bed and makes you want to run out the door and do the things that you want to do. And so we want to search every day for inspiring stories, inspiring quotes, inspiring connections to other people. And so I found a story that I really like. And in part, one of the things I love about this story is it comes from a woman who grew up in India, but it easily can apply to anybody. And that's what I like about the story. It's a story of a daughter talking about the inspiration that her mother had given her, the inspiration that her mother provided. Now, the story is written by Adyasha Behera. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And it's titled, I Always Loved My Mom. And I'm reading it. I'm going to read it as written so you can kind of hear the language and experience her feelings, because some of the language is slightly different than what I might use. So she says this: my mamo, or her mother, comes from a typical partly lower class and middle class family. She is the third one in a 5 sibling line. So she's 3 of 5. Now, if you ask me what inspires me about her, hands down, it's her selflessness. She left her graduation midway just because her family needed her. When she was studying, her mother, my nanny, fell sick. She had to take the responsibility of the whole family into her hands because her eldest sister was married. The second one was busy studying at school, and the one child below her was too small to take care of her mom. So her mother tells her how ashamed she felt at times because she had almost forgot even the English language. So she was in India and she couldn't speak English. She couldn't hardly even remember the alphabet due to this huge responsibility she had on her shoulders ever since childhood. Her mother was afraid of how her daughter was going to be educated, having an uneducated mother. So even without having the proper education she would have gotten, She is the most literate woman I know. This is what she's saying. My mom is the most literate person I know. She doesn't understand the few words of English. Agreed. But she has a wisdom that few literate people fail to possess. Even Mamo gets backlashed and mocked for being a homemaker. I get intrigued by the mentality of such people. How does being a homemaker make a woman looked down with a frown? Why would a woman say this? She couldn't do anything in her life, so she became a homemaker. What kind of stupidity is that, she says. You say a woman who is the backbone of a whole family, who works day in and day out just to make sure that everyone in her family takes the pain, that she takes the pain of everybody in the family without even anybody asking her to do it. How does being a perfect homemaker equate with you couldn't do anything, so you became a homemaker? Do you think that working women are the only people that should be respected? My mother taught me whatever that you're working on, be it a profession or running a home or running an office, be sure you do it with all your heart and all your mind. My mother taught me how to look at this society through the eyes of change, working bit by bit to help those around you. My mother taught me how to be a wise person and a graceful lady. Most importantly, it was her who stood by me when the world was against my dreams. A woman who taught herself how the world functions. She learned every bit of her knowledge from Hindi magazines. She is mocked because of her least knowledge in English when she invested her time educating her daughter to study English. Mamo isn't just my mother. She is my world. I love her not just because of how she raised herself, but how she raised me to be a woman of grace. I just work towards my own self every day to grow up and become part of what a beautiful woman my mom is. She is the most beautiful heart I have ever seen in my life. By the way, Mamo is partly mastering basic English with the help of her daughter, me. That's what makes my heart filled with gratitude. Great story. Now, I love this story because I think it has a number of important lessons to talk about, and I hope you'll think for a minute about how this story fits into your life. What sort of issues did she face? If you're a mother, has any of this changed you? And if so, how? When we return, I'm going to discuss what my take on this story is and what I got out of this story. This is Laura Meeks, Transformation Talk Radio.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Have you lost a loved one and would desperately love a sign to prove that they are okay? Here's a tip for you. Be curious. Keep an open mind about everything. The proof will come from the most unlikely places. The messages promise to challenge your current beliefs and what you've been taught. Accept and appreciate all, no matter where they come from. I'm Angie Corbett-Kuiper. I would love for you to share your signs from beyond on my closed Facebook page, Beyond Grief.
Are you ready to create a life you'll really love? Then you'll want to tune in to the hit show Life Design Radio, From Adversity to Awesome with Susan DiLorenzo. Live each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. No matter where you are in your adversity story, Life Design Radio has got you covered. Get ready to feel inspired, enlightened, and motivated. For more information about working with Susan, visit SusanDiLorenzo.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Have you heard the story of the snake and the rope? One evening, a young woman was walking down a country road. It was growing dark. Suddenly, she froze. Up ahead was a coiled snake. She was terrified. She reached into her bag for a flashlight and directed the beam of light towards the snake. Now she was flooded with relief. It was just a piece of old rope. That snake stands for all our imaginary fears and insecurities that sap our confidence. The beam of light is conscious confidence. Ask yourself, how many snakes did I see today? How many actions or words did I stifle through fear? Hi, I'm Sarah Main, creator of Conscious Confidence. Join me and my co-host, Dr. Pat, for Conscious Confidence Radio on transformationtalkradio.com. Learn more about how you can live a life filled with conscious confidence. Go to my website, consciousconfidence.com.
Okay, welcome back. This is Laura Meeks Show on Transformation Talk Radio, transformationtalkradio.com if you're joining us there. And as always, it's my privilege to share some time with you and inspire you to take action in the direction of your dreams. And that's really what we are trying to get you to do here. And today we're talking about inspiration, things that inspire you. And in the last segment, we heard the story of, see if I can say her name right, Adyasha Behera's story about her mother. And, one of the things that I really liked about this story is that the inspiration that this young daughter took from her mother and how she looked at what her mother was doing. Her mother was facing criticism for just being a housewife. Yet she recognized that in her mother's choice to become, quote, just a housewife, that she gained so much from her mother. And so often in life, inspiration can come from a lot of action, and you never know what inspiration you're going to provide with somebody by doing something in your life. Well, the next story that I have to tell you is to talk about circumstances come into your life, and as you're dealing with these circumstances, often you're given some choices, sometimes maybe some limited choices, and how you navigate through that can be very important. And this story I find interesting. I've changed it a little bit, but I call this story the story of the shady banker, the shady banker story. So here's how it goes. In a small Italian town, hundreds of years ago, a small business owner owed a large sum of money to the shady banker. The shady banker was a very old, unattractive-looking guy that just so happened to fancy the business owner's daughter. And he decided to offer the businessman a deal that would completely wipe out the debt that he owed him. However, the catch was if he wiped out the debt, he would get to marry the businessman's daughter. Well, needless to say, this proposal was not met with great glee. The businessman was really not ready to sacrifice his daughter and make this deal. But not to be swayed, the shady banker made a new offer. Here's the new offer. The shady banker said that he would place 2 pebbles in a bag, one white and one black. The daughter would then have to reach into the bag and pick out a pebble. And if it was a black pebble, then the debt would be canceled, but then the daughter, if it was black, then the daughter would have to marry the shady banker. If it was white, the debt would be canceled and the daughter would be free. and she wouldn't have to marry the shady banker. So all parties agreed that, hey, we can do this. So there they were, standing on a pebble-strewn path in the businessman's garden. And so the shady banker bent over and picked up 2 pebbles. Now, I like this word, whilst. Whilst he was picking them up, the daughter noticed that he'd picked up 2 black pebbles and placed them both into the bag. He then asked the daughter to reach into the bag and pick one. Now, the daughter felt she had 3 choices as to what she could have done. First of all, she could refuse to pick a pebble out of the bag. That might be suspect. She could, secondly, take both pebbles out of the bag and expose the shady banker for being a cheat. Or she could just pick a pebble from the bag, fully well realizing that if she picked the black one, she was going to sacrifice herself for her father's freedom. So here's her solution. She drew out a pebble from the bag, and before she looked at it, she accidentally dropped it into the midst of all the other pebbles on the path. Apologetically, she said to the shady banker, "Ooh, how clumsy of me. I've dropped my pebble. But never mind. If you look into the bag for the one that's left, you'll be able to tell which pebble I picked." Now, the pebble that was in the bag was obviously black, and the shady banker didn't want to be exposed, so he was forced to play along and had to conclude that the pebble that the daughter had dropped must have been white. Thus, the debt was clear, and she didn't have to marry the shady banker. The shady banker story. Now, the moral of the story: it is always possible to overcome a tough situation by using out-of-the-box thinking and not give in to the only options that you think that you have to pick from. Now, what inspires me when I read this story about the shady banker and the daughter was that she used out-of-the-box thinking. I mean, when I first read the story, I kind of concluded like she did that she had those 3 choices, but she crafted a new solution that worked for everybody. If you listen to my last show, we talked about flying into the box canyon. She was basically in a box canyon, and she figured out how to fly out of that. Now, in my life, I've found that it's very common for parents and teachers and others to influence your life and box you in. Very often, tell me you haven't had this situation. Somebody says, well, you can either do A or you can do B. And you feel like you're stuck with those 2 choices, when in reality, there are other choices that you can take. It's important that you take this from the story, that you always have choices. You always have other choices besides the ones that are given to you. And if you allow people to do this, they are going to give you the 2 black pebble choice, because they're going to try to maneuver you into their world. And so it's important that you use your creative mind, your inspired mind, to come up with a new story and a new ending that works for you. It is going to be there. The other solutions are there. You know, along that line, I've also often found that life teaches you paradigms. These are rules of how the world works. They come from your parents and teachers and mentors. Paradigms are models of how you think that the world is working and how you fit into those rules. And I have another quick story, and it bears repeating because I think that this is a story that applies to us all as well, and it's about the elephant rope, I call it. So here's the story. A gentleman was walking through an elephant camp, and he spotted elephants that were being kept in cages or not being kept in cages They were just being kept in the camp by a small rope. Not even chains were on there. The only thing holding them was this little rope. And so the man gazed on the elephants and he was totally confused. Like, how could these huge elephants be tied by these little ropes and not go anywhere? It just seemed crazy. They easily could have come undone that. So he walked up to the elephant trainer and he said, why are these elephants not running away? And he said, here's how we train the elephants. He said, when the elephants are very young, we tie them with the same rope that they have on their leg right now. And when they're young, that rope actually holds them in place. And as they grow older, they realize they get trained and to believe, they get a paradigm of how the world works is that they cannot pull that rope away. Now, even as they grow older and they grow stronger, they still have the belief, the paradigm of how the world works, that they can't break that rope. And so they never try to test their strength. They accepted the belief that this rope can handle that. So the moral of this story is that no matter how much the world tries to hold you back, always continue to test these ropes, test the beliefs and the paradigms that you've been given or that you've learned. I love these. Money doesn't grow on trees. It takes 5 years to build a successful business. These are all paradigms these are little ropes that have been tied to us. When we come back, we're going to take a small break. This is Laura Meeks. And when we come back, we're going to talk about one last inspirational story and how that can affect your life so that you can leave today and go out and live a life that you love. This is Laura Meeks on Transformation Talk Radio.
Are you ready to embrace your essence and the magic of who you are? Let me, Emily Perkins, hold your hand and walk with you as we go treasure hunting for the gold that lies within you. Tune in to Love Living Radio every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information, visit LoveLivingHolistics.com.
To find answers to life's questions, you need to look within yourself. Dr. Glenna Rice brings your questionable conversations on Transformation Talk Radio each month. Tune in each month for insight into how you can live up to your full potential. Dr. Glenna is a physical therapist, certified Access Consciousness, and Access Body Class facilitator. How does it get any better than this? For more information on Dr. Glenna Rice and her work, visit glennarice.com.
How often do you find yourself wondering, why me? Learn a new shift in perspective to see how everything that takes place in your life is actually working for you and shifting you towards your own enlightenment. Tune in to Blank Enlightenment Radio with Misty Thompson each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more, visit MistyMThompson.com. That's MistyMThompson.com.
A space of allowing radio with Coach Nancy Coco, welcoming all that wants to be present today. Tune in Thursdays every first and third week at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Coach Nancy helps you find a space of allowing. Join Coach Nancy to explore what lives at your edges and to bring more of yourself home. For more information, visit NancyCocoCoaching.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit jenroyster.com for more information.
This is Laura Meeks. Welcome back. I'm here on transformationtalkradio.com. And in the last section, we had some inspirational story of the pebble. And I have a couple other things that I want to talk to you about. But before I do, I just want to get a little shot here, a little self-promo in here, because if in any way I'm connecting to you and you are inspired to take a step forward in your life, I want you to know that I have a few spots left in my coaching schedule in January, and I would love to chat with one or two of you that are interested in moving yourself forward. And you can connect to me. I'll say this one more time before the end of the show, but you can connect to me on my phone, 888-666-1570. And I would love to chat with you about your future, your dreams, putting fuel in your jet, moving towards your destination. That's what I do. That's what I love to share with other people. Now, as we end the show, one of the last things I want to talk about in the land of inspiration and this land of contrast is that as we move forward in life, there are going to be struggles. And inspiration is part of what helps you get past your struggles. But I have a story of a butterfly. Again, some of you may have heard this, but it always bears repeating in that in context, this may be the time you need to hear this story. I read a book called Illusions over and over and over again. It's not that I don't know the story. It's just that I gain more out of the story every time I hear it. So here's the story of the butterfly. A man found a cocoon of a butterfly one day, and in the cocoon, a small hole appeared. And as he sat there, he watched the butterfly struggling to get out of this little hole. And as he was watching the butterfly, it's struggling and struggling and struggling. And then it appeared to stop struggling. And he thought, oh, this poor little butterfly, it needs some help. And so he ran and got some scissors, and he cut a bigger hole into the cocoon. And lo and behold, the butterfly was able to get out. It emerged easily through this little the hole that he had created, the bigger hole that he'd created. But when the butterfly had made its way out of the cocoon, it emerged with a swollen body and small, shriveled wings. Now, the man didn't think anything of it, and he sat there and waited for the wings to enlarge and support the butterfly, but that didn't happen. Sadly, the butterfly spent the rest of its short life unable to fly, crawling around with its tiny wings and its swollen body. So, despite the kind heart that this man had, what he didn't understand was the restricting cocoon and the struggle that was required for the butterfly to get out of the cocoon was on purpose. The struggle is what forces the fluid out of the body and into the wings so that the butterfly can fly. The struggle is designed to prepare the butterfly to live in the outer world once it gets out of the cocoon. So the moral of the story is that our struggles in life help us develop our strengths. So without struggles, we never grow and we never get stronger. And it's important for us to tackle many of our challenges, on our own. So yes, it's good to have a mentor and a coach to guide you, but the actual work, the actual struggle out of the cocoon has to be on your own, because it's through that struggle that we gain the confidence and the skills for solving the next bigger challenges. So in the land of contrast that I mentioned in the beginning of the show, and remember, our world is a world of contrast. it has struggles and it has easy parts. And it's in those struggles very often that we find discomfort. There's pain, there is effort, and there is strong emotion tied into these struggles. But, and it's possible, and I'll say this, it's possible that after facing a couple struggles, you might say to yourself, wow, wouldn't it be great to have a life of ease? Wouldn't it be great if there were no struggles in life? One of the things that I see here in California often is people, the lottery gets up to a really high number, and people think in their hearts, wouldn't it be so great that if I could just win the lottery and live a life of ease, I could have a house and a car, and I would never have to work again. I could wake up and have pancakes for breakfast every day, and then I'd just have to hang out. I wouldn't have all the struggle of going to work. But is that really the life that you want? It sounds ideal in the first part, but I have to tell you, after a little while, you're going to realize that we're here on this planet to grow. Humans grow. That's what we do. And you'll find that when you're in a spot, and tell me this is not true, when you've been in a job where there's no hope of a promotion, it's not a good place to be. Why? Because you realize that you need to grow and expand. That's why we're here. So without any struggles, just like the butterfly, we need to struggle through some of these challenges. You know, history is filled with inspiring stories of creators that have struggled long and hard before reaching their success. I went out to the Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan, and they had a big part of that was Edison and Edison's, the workshop that he created was recreated in Dearborn. And Edison tested over 1,000 light bulbs before he found one that worked. In aviation, I deal with flying. You fly high living. That's why we're here. In the 1900s, there were thousands of people struggling to come up with an idea that would create an airplane that would fly and fly reliably. They had to struggle. And in your life, I'm sure you've had to overcome hurdles to reach the success that you have so far. One of the books I read, I mentioned earlier that I read over and over and over again, is a book by Richard Bach. It's called Illusions. If you haven't read it, it's the tale of the reluctant Messiah. And in that book, one of the quotes that comes out of that book is that every problem you face has a gift hidden inside. And you need to search out problems because you need the gifts. And kind of what he's saying is that you need to find some challenges in life. They don't have to be Mount Everest challenges, but this world that we live in is an ever-growing upward spiral of life. It deals with all of our relationships, our health, our creativity. All of that leads us to a life that we absolutely would love. And so as we end this show today, I want you to take these stories of inspiration out into the world and take some action. Remember that inspiration without taking a step of action is merely entertainment. It's fun to watch these shows, but it's even more fun to create a life that you love living. And so from these stories, I want you to think about the story of the woman, the story of the rope. My daughter one time had been told in high school, she has a wonderful singing voice, and her choir teachers told her, hey, you're never going to be a great singer. Those are ropes that are tied to you. So go out and break some of those ropes if you can. It's been an inspiration to me to talk to you today. This is Laura Meeks. I'm ending our show today. This is Laura Meeks on The Laura Meeks Show, and we are brought to you by TransformationTalkRadio.com.
You've been listening to The Laura Meeks Show. Dream on, fly high, live adventurously on Transformation Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next month as Laura helps you find your unique gifts so you can bring them to the world. For more information on Laura Meeks or to listen to past shows, visit her website at flyhighliving.com. Check out her hit Dream On 12-week course, where you get the personal attention you need to fly high in your new life.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.